Hi everyone, it's Bolu Lawal from Inspired Careers, and as always, we are all about delivering massive content, massive value to you. The COVID-19 pandemic has made it such that a lot of organizations are requiring their employees to work from home. Many more people are working remotely now than ever before, and that is why in today's video I will be discussing tips and strategies to help you maximize your productivity while working from home or while working remotely. So let's get into it. Now, while you're working from home, you have a lot of flexibility to do your job, and also you don't have that formality, permit the expression, that is present when you're in the office. But working from home also has its own drawbacks, if you like. For instance, there could be a lot of distractions. So how do you navigate enjoying the benefits of working remotely and not allowing any of the distractions get to you or any of the cons to get to you? And that's what this video is all about. Number one, you must get ready for work. Now, this includes mentally and sometimes even physically. I know a lot of people, when they work from home, are probably in their pajamas all day long, okay? But the truth is, research has shown that when you prepare for your day, it sets you when you prepare for your day, it actually helps your brain to get in the mood for work and be a bit more productive. What I mean is, when you get up in the morning, you need to actually take a bath. You need to probably change your clothes I'm not saying you should put on a suit and a tie, if you're working from home, but, change your clothes, change from the clothes that you slept in, appear, groom yourself. It sets your brain in the frame of mind for work and helps, to maximize, your creativity. Listen, our brains are programmed to take cues from, your social and your personal outlook. So when you do things like taking your bath, changing your clothes, doing your hair, even a little makeup isn't bad. You set your brain to be productive. You give your brain, as it were, a reason to be productive. Besides, that you're working remotely doesn't necessarily mean that you can't be called into, an online meeting where you'd have to face the camera and, you have to show your face. So, that's another reason why you should prepare and look presentable for your day at work. Next up, you need to choose a proper working place. Now, a lot of people, when they're working remotely or when they're working from home, they simply lie down on their beds with their laptops. Most people have an internet connection and then you're just typing away. But no, it actually boosts your creativity to have a designated work area, a place where you have at least a table and a desk where you can have your computer and from where you can work. It's very powerful. It's very instrumental towards, towards moving you from that place of having a mental barrier to your productivity and unleashing, all your genius, unleashing all your creative abilities when you have a designated workplace. And so when you work without that designated workspace, without that designated official work area, there tends to be that lethargy with which you approach your day, with which you approach your work. So have a designated work area. It's also useful to have, a designated work area because then you can set it up in a way where there are minimal distractions. In a place where you don't have access to the TV and so that's not distracting you. You don't have access to anything else. It's just an area where, you can focus solely on your work. As another example, you can set it up in a way where you're facing a wall and so there are minimal distractions. You don't set up in an area where you have a window and you can look outside and you can see all what's going on outside. Those are distractions, so you typically want to avoid all of that. And so a designated workspace keeps you kind of like oriented to your work, by giving you that office-like type of environment, that office-like type of atmosphere. And at the end of the day, this helps you to concentrate better and thereby it increases your productivity. The next point is to maintain what I call consistent working hours, or to have a routine for your work. You know, how often do we lose track of time and just continue to work and work and work and work when we're working from home? A lot of the time, isn't it? I'd say every day when you work from home, sometimes that happens to you. And it's not really a good thing for you to be a workaholic all the time. It's good to be a workaholic within work hours. And so that balance to your work, you know, always comes when you have a designated period of time, a designated routine every day when you're working from home. It's really an unhealthy practice for you to work and work and work, and you are quite unaware of how much time has passed. This isn't really good for you. You should make a routine of your work days, and you should structure it in a way that you can follow along with ease. If you say you're going to work from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day, that's a great plan, but make sure you stick to it every day that you work from home, or every day that you work remotely. Now, there may be times where because there is a lot of work to be done, you could extend past your designated work hours, and that's okay, but try not to make that a consistent practice. Try not to make that happen all the time. You know, another reason why it's good to have consistent working hours is that your social life doesn't suffer. Your social life doesn't begin to deteriorate simply because you're spending too much time at work. To put it in a nutshell, start working at a particular time every day and stop working at a particular time every day. It tends to increase your productivity. It tends to send a subconscious message to your brain to say, I must put in my best during these hours, because at the end of these hours, I can't work any longer, or I am not going to work any longer. So I need to put in my best while I am at work. The next point is what I call eat right, sleep right. Now, one of the great benefits of working from home is that you have 24 hours access to the kitchen, which is really good, right? Wrong. All right. So we've seen people who during the pandemic, they grew out of proportion because, you know, free access to food. Every 10 minutes, you're getting up to go to the kitchen. You must be disciplined. You must eat right and you must sleep right. You must have the right kind of diet. Have a diet, have a timetable. Don't just splurge, don't just continue eating, and don't just, you know, concentrate yourself on eating junk. You need to eat the right kind of food. And so if you're going to be working from home, being on a healthy diet is actually very important. You need to concentrate on eating food that will actually, should I say, help your brain to function rather than drain your energy. Again, overeating can lead to sluggishness. It can just make you tired and reduce your productivity. So you want to eat healthy, you want to eat right. I mean, I'm not going to go into the details of what to eat, proteins, carbohydrates, and what have you. Just make sure you eat healthy and you're eating food that is actually supporting your productivity rather than food that is taking away from it. And concerning sleeping, now sleep is one of the things that gets affected the most for a lot of people when they start working from home, because it's easy for you to deprive yourself of sleep. I mean, you're working from home. Sometimes you binge watch and movies and all of that. You must make sure you sleep at the right time and you wake up at the right time. This is very important for your mental alertness, for your productivity. It's very important for your mind. And then for some other people, sleep is one of the things they start to do a lot. You know, you just sleep and sleep and sleep just because you are at home. But that's not the way to go, obviously. You need to have the same way you have a good, healthy eating habit, timetable, you know, and schedule for food is the same way you need to have the same for sleep. Very important. And so you need to have a healthy routine, not just for your food, but for your sleep as well. Go to bed at a specific time, wake up at a specific time, and try to have, research says the average adults should have at least 6 hours of sleep. So try to have at least 6 hours of sleep. It's very good for you. The next point is to have a to-do list, or what you call a planner. Many times when you're on your own, in quotes, working from home, there's the tendency to get distracted by so many things. But when you have a to-do list, when you create a to-do list, and not just create a to-do list really, you need to follow it through. You need to ensure that you're using your to-do list as the day goes along, so that you are maximizing the time that you have working from home, doing the things that really matter, doing the things that you have assigned to yourself to do. And when you keep track of your progress like this, when you keep track of your tasks like this, it helps you to not only be more productive overall, but also to monitor your effectiveness over time while working from home. It helps to keep your focus on the job. It helps to improve your knowledge of the work. It makes the work look more doable to you, and ultimately it helps you to accomplish your goals and your objectives a lot more effectively. Next, exercise regularly. Exercise regularly. Now, because you're working from home, there's a tendency to just be at home and sit at that desk all day working. But it's important to take regular breaks, to get up, to stretch your legs, walk around a little bit. I mean, working from home promotes that sedentary lifestyle that isn't really very good for you. So you must take regular breaks, get up, go get a cup of water or cup of juice, whatever it is, stretch your legs, and then come back and continue, your work. The breaks don't need to be too long so you're not getting ineffective or inefficient. 5 minutes and then you're back, 10 minutes and then you're back. You're good to go, and then you fire on. So take regular breaks and don't just work at a stretch. There's a way the breaks help to relieve your mind of stress, help you to take your mind off the work for a few minutes, and then you come back refocused and re-energized. And so regular exercise really is a way of helping you improve your performance while you're working from home. The next point, and this is very important, is to set ground rules with your family members, your spouse, your partner, your children if you have kids, or your roommate, whoever it is you live with. As long as you don't live alone, they need to understand that the hours when you are at work are the hours when you are at work. Recently, I saw a video clip online of a BBC reporter who was working from home, and in the background, his son came into the room when he was doing a report, and it was just so very hilarious. Your family members, your kids, your friends, everyone needs to know that you're at work from this time to this time, and so you should not be disturbed. It's one of the benefits of having a designated workspace that I spoke about earlier, where you can work without being distracted. Your family members should understand that they should give you time within that period, or within a particular period, to be able to work with minimal distractions. That's very important. And so it's important to set those rules so that they know that, well, while I am at work, they do not have access to me. Imagine if you're in a meeting, an online meeting, and someone just barges in with a request, "Daddy, can you do this for me?" Or "Mommy, can you do this for me?" and all of that. They need to understand that while you're at work, there can be minimal distractions. So when you take your breaks that I spoke about earlier on, to exercise or to just stretch, during your work hours, you could pop in on them and say hi, attend to whatever needs that they have, and then go back to your work. And finally, the last point is handle social media. Now, whether we like it or not, we all have to admit that we're all guilty of social media being a distraction. And depending on what you do, social media might actually be something that is necessary for you to be on even while you are at work. But I'd say for the vast majority of people, social media is a distraction when we are at work, unless if you're a social media person and being on social media is part of your job and all of that. So the point is this: you need to be able to manage the distractions that social media poses while you're working from home. Because you're working from home, I'm sure your employer can't be checking to see if you're online or if you're spending time on company time on Facebook and all of that. You have to be disciplined to know that while I'm at work, I can't, I've mentioned having breaks where you can have time to check, social media and all of that. But predominantly when you are at work, try to stay away from social media so that you don't get carried away. This is how to maximize, working from home or working remotely. This is how to maximize your productivity and boost your output by not allowing social media to distract you. All right, so I hope that with these tips I've shared, you've been able to learn practical tips to maximize your productivity while you are working remotely or while you're working from home. They're very simple. They're basic things that you can do to actually get results immediately. And so if you've enjoyed this video, just give it a like or drop a comment in the comment section, and let's start a conversation around any of the strategies, any of the tips that I've spoken about in this video. And I'll see you next time.